Anyone who has been paying attention to this point will remember Kilmar Obrega Garcia. He was the one who was accidentally sent to El Salvador, and then it was done on purpose, and then it was an accident because they can't figure out which one it actually is. He was sent to El Salvador even though he had protected status here in the United States, an order that was signed in 2015 to protect him from being deported back to El Salvador. Well, they sent him over there anyway, and it took months for them to bring him back. Even the Supreme Court of the United States, in a unanimous decision, told Bone Spur's administration that they needed to facilitate his return. Bone Spur's administration said, there's nothing we can do. Yes, it was a clerical error, but no, we did it on purpose because he's a criminal and we suddenly care about believing women. But it was a total accident and we didn't mean to do it, but maybe we did. After all of that and months of saying that they had no jurisdiction to bring back Garcia, they finally brought him back in June, which was only a few days after filing in court that they had no jurisdiction and no way to bring him back from El Salvador. But somehow by a miracle, they brought him back and immediately charged him with trafficking charges based on a stop in 2019 where they say he was trying to bring in non-citizens to the country. Garcia's attorneys sued Bone Spur's administration for this wrongful deportation, and the DOJ has been in court trying to get that case dismissed. However, the judge in that case has ruled their arguments to be without merit. Garcia is being held in Tennessee, and they want to move him to Maryland instead. However, the judge did not rule on that part, but the judge did say that she is not ruling to have him released from prison pending trial because she is afraid that if she does that, then Homeland Security, which high-ranking Homeland Security officers have already admitted this, they will pick him up and deport him again, this time to either one of the third countries, which is a country that he's not from, or they'll send him back to El Salvador. So for Garcia's protection, she is ordering him to remain in custody so that they can keep an eye on him and the government doesn't literally kidnap him and send him away to another country. And this is a pretty valid concern. The Supreme Court just this week blocked a lower court's decision to make it mandatory that the Bone Spur's administration give people at least 15 days before being deported. Now, it was 30 days that they had to give people notice that they were going to be deported. But the Bone Spur's administration is giving people less than 24 hours. In one case, the particular case that the Supreme Court ruled on, men from Myanmar, Laos, Vietnam, Cuba, and Mexico were being held and were going to be deported within 16 hours of notice to South Sudan. Now, South Sudan is a war zone, and rumor has it, they don't spare on the physical punishments. So a lower court judge stopped the deportation, saying they needed at least 15 days to not only get themselves a lawyer, but to prove that they had a reasonable fear of physical danger in the place that they were going to. Apparently, the Supreme Court thought that those people did not need that type of courtesy. And Bone Spur's administration is using the fact that the detainees have a criminal record. But even with a criminal record, you are still entitled to due process. But for whatever reason, the Supreme Court decided Bone Spur's administration was allowed to deport people indiscriminately without due process or notice or counsel to third countries, meaning countries that the deportees are not from, don't speak the language of, or anything else, while the cases go through the court system. Usually, judges will stop actions until the case goes through the system. But the Supreme Court said, hey, you can keep illegally deporting people until it goes through the system. Have you guys noticed that since the Bone Spur's administration completely disregarded their order to bring back Garcia, they just gave up on upholding the law in general? I've noticed that. So now if they want to deport somebody, they can give them less than a day's notice, and they don't even have to give the notice in that person's language. So they can just round someone up and put them in a cell. Don't give them any notices in the language that they can understand. Don't give them counsel who know the laws and the rights that they have here in America, and don't give them enough time to make their case. What can go wrong? Now, there are a lot of people cheering this on. There are a lot of immigrants cheering this on because they are naturalized citizens. They came in the right way and did their papers and have naturalized citizenship, and they are safe. No, you're not. You're not safe. Because the DOJ is now prioritizing denaturalizing naturalized citizens. They are making it a priority to denaturalize you. You went through 7 to 10 years of trying to become a citizen here so that you could close the door on people who were just like you, trying to come in here and live the American dream that you were all sold on. But the DOJ is now stepping up its denaturalizations. Between 1990 and 2017, only 305 denaturalization cases existed. That is about 11 denaturalization cases per year. That has gone up exponentially. So you thought you were safe because you came in the right way. Out of 46.2 million immigrants in this country, there are 24.5 million naturalized citizens. And a large percentage of those naturalized citizens voted for Trump because you thought you were safe. instead of listening to people who said that they are just lying to you. They are not after criminals. They are not after illegal immigrants. They are after all of you. And you were warned.